Welcome, one and all. Today is Thursday, June 16th, 2016. A lot of sixes in the date today. And this is Mastermind call number 77, Chad. Is that correct?
79.
79. Oh, that's right. I missed a couple. Mastermind call number 79, June 16th, 2016. Thank you all so much for showing up. We got a ton of people that were here on time. We still have people signing in. Again, hit *6 and then hit 1 if you would like to participate. Let me go around the horn here. My partners, Tim, anything you'd like to contribute this week or add before we get started?
I'm just going to add one thing, which is that we have talked numerous times about looking at other options and other things other than probate, and we've been promising that we're moving down the line there. We actually have pulled some good information in some test counties now, and we're actively testing the information for marriage, and we hope to have something soon that is definitive about whether or not we're going to have a product that we believe we can release for that, and it would be one of value. And part of that is that we're taking the information that we got and actually having the people called in advance to determine the quality of the leads that we're able to offer based on the filing date of the marriage certificate and all that. So we're working hard to come up with yet another opportunity there. And closely behind that, we're going to be looking at divorce and foreclosure. And we're having a lot of interesting conversations in regard to data and the quality of information we can provide. And we're excited about that. So I just thought I'd throw that into the hopper.
Yeah, a little bit of a teaser. We haven't given up on divorce, guys. We mentioned it before, but we were a little bit taken back by how different it is in each county. So we're really analyzing the data, and that is, we haven't given up on it. It's a coming attraction. Another little bit of a teaser, we have some really exciting things in the work to greatly enhance the probate information that we're giving you, possibly get it to you a lot sooner than we are right now. I mean, in some cases, we may be able to get you a lot of data before the probate's filed. And to do that, we're employing a couple great psychics that are just going to tell us when people are going to die. No,
Moving on now.
Not funny, but no. But there are ways of we are working on some things to greatly enhance the probate process also. So, and while we're on that, guys, we are meeting. All of us partners get together every 3 months, the four of us, and we're meeting in Fort Pierce, Florida, the week after next. We're going to go ahead and send you all out a survey, and we really would like your feedback. Please, comments, things that we're doing well, things you'd like to see improved, enhanced, additional services. Nothing's off limits. We'll ask you some questions, but we're really looking for your feedback because it greatly influences the direction that we're going to head in next. So look for that coming soon. Chad's working on that. Chad, anything you want to add?
Yeah, so guys, look for that, by the end of the week. I'll send a survey out. Just a couple of questions. If you just, literally take 30 seconds and kind of tell us, what you would like to see as the next big thing in real estate. There's a lot of things that we are working on, but we do make sure we prioritize based on what you guys want, because that's what's most important to us. So the other thing I wanted to mention is with the system improvements we're doing, we're redoing all the educational products, everything we've ever done. So Probate Fast Track, Probate Mastery, all the education courses, the training is being improved. And so for that, because we haven't rolled out the new tools yet, the new website, Probate Mastery is not going to happen in June. So we'll be looking at the next Probate Mastery class being in July. And I know that's something we've got a lot of people that are waiting. I just feel like it's in your best interest to wait until you have the updated content that's relevant to all the new streamlined tools we're going to be giving you. So I really don't want to offer, antiquated training. I'd rather wait the extra couple of weeks and have just the full-blown, new and improved training across the board. So I appreciate everybody's patience while we get this done and get it to the finish line. But look for probably mid-July will be the next Probate Mastery course.
Excellent. And my partner in Fort Pierce there, Tom, has already said that he's got nothing to add today. Although, Tom, you have to tell him but we want to remind everybody at least once a call. There's 4 of us, and we have 4 employees, actually 5 employees now. The best way to get help with anything is to send an email to support@alltheleads.com. Tom will read it, and then Tom will assign it to the best person to help you. And I think our response time is less than 20 minutes. So you guys are always welcome to call me, but I'm always on the phone. The best way to get help with anything you need is just be real specific in your email. Send an email to support@alltheleads.com. Tom, anything you want to add to that?
No, that's great. Appreciate it.
All righty. And then, Tim, you had another comment.
Yeah, and this is procedural as well. I just spent a goodly amount of time with Mark Boucher, who is our account rep, who most of you have or will hear from if you're new or all of that. But Mark's the person that you should be hearing from early on in the process of your relationship with us. And one of the things that we don't say often enough, and I'm going to say now, is that if you have not already put alltheleads.com onto your email client's whitelist, you need to do that. If you don't know how to do that, find out how to go do that based on whatever your email client is. And if you want to learn how to do it, go to Google and type in, how do I whitelist someone on, and whatever you're using as a mail client, type that in there. So you type in, how do I whitelist someone on Gmail? How do I whitelist someone on mail.com? How do I whitelist someone on whatever? If you don't put that in there, you'll never get the emails that we send you, and you're missing great information and lots of data that you need to receive. Number one, that's real important. The other thing is that if you get a website set up with us, you have to do the same thing and make sure that you're receiving the form submissions from your website, and that's kind of what prompted all this. Just make sure that you're not restricting your ability to receive valuable information by failing to whitelist the things that you want to see in your inbox, and hopefully we're worthy of being on that whitelist. So make sure you get that done, and I'm now done.
Great point, Tim. We used to see it more. It was quite common that I'd get a call from someone, when are my leads coming? And I would check and say 10 days ago, or you got them 2 weeks ago, and they were going directly to junk mail. I think we see less of that now, but it's important to mention every once in a while. So we want you to get the best information as soon as it's available and not have a lot of stuff sitting in junk mail. So excellent, guys. We have 2 people in the queue. We have room for about 5 more. So again, please hit *6 and then hit 1, and you will be third in line. And I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the Philly home team. You're up first. Can you hear me?
Rick. Yep,
hey,
I can
Rick.
hear you.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I'm trying to get all this set up here, and one thing going through the material, one thing I noticed is setting up the team, and I'm working on doing that, the various components of that. And I think every state is different in this regard, but for your title contact, in Pennsylvania, the title is initiated from the buy side. What would you recommend with that? Am I going to be dealing with 50 different title companies trying to, that may or may not be experts in probate, or is there a way around that you figured out?
So are you saying that if you're the seller's agent, you have to use the buyer agent's title company?
Yeah, that's common practice, yes.
Okay. I wouldn't get stuck on it. It's just, and that's one of those things that maybe 1 in 100 will have an encumbrance on or some sort of title issue. If you feel like it's going to hurt you more than help you to push that and get your seller, working with a title company that understands probate, then I wouldn't get hung up on it. The reason we suggest that is because when you have the wrong title company that's kind of overwhelmed and they're used to just conventional deals and they hit a title issue, sometimes they'll just let it sit or expect the agent to do all the work to clear that and find the missing errors or whatever. So that's why we recommend that as one of the team members. I would say that if you're just getting started, you definitely have more important things to focus on. You could maybe work on that later.
Okay, so something I can kind of not worry about, but then kind of make adjustments if it needs to be. I don't know if that's something I want to talk to the other agents about. because they want to make the deal go through too, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
probably get that figured out. Okay. And then
Also,
one
Rick,
other quote.
Maybe that's your answer. Maybe your solution, Rick, is before, as you're negotiating the contract, you just have a conversation with the agent and say, listen, we've got a lot of experience in probate. I'm not saying there are title issues, but in the event that there are, we like to know that we're working with a title company that won't give up. So who are you planning on using, and, will they do anything to make sure your deal's closed? Okay, cool. Let's use them.
Rick, I know you had a follow-up. Yeah, I know you had a follow-up. I was going to also add that you are getting the names, addresses, and phone numbers of attorneys, and we always recommend reach out to the executor first. And once you get a property listed, as you contact the attorney that's handling that probate, you could certainly scout out someone that you could call in if you needed it. A good conversation with the attorney would be, hey, I notice you specialize in probate, so do I. If I do have an issue with the file and there's a title company that doesn't know what they're doing, can we call on you? I mean, it's just an extra level of expertise. And like Chad said, it's probably less than 1 in 100 times you'll need it, but better to be prepared just in case you do.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll kind of play around with that and see. I have a feeling that it might just be selling the other agent on using a particular title company that's just very used to doing this instead of whoever's standard deal title company. Sure.
And you had a follow-up question, Rick?
Yeah. Just this should be a quick and easy one for you. I was just a little confused on the material. When probate is opened, do we have to wait until it is closed to sell the property, or can it be sold before the close of probate?
So you'll have to check in your market and make sure it can be listed any time. As far as when it can close can sometimes be determined by the court, but the probate filing is simply saying to the world, we're settling this estate. So that's, you can list the property at any time before probate was filed, during the probate process. In some states like California, if the personal representative doesn't have full power, then they have to go to the court and say, here's the contract price. It has to be approved, and then it can sell. So you just have to, and that's, it might be good to just call your local probate clerk and just say, we've got a listing that's in probate. I'll make sure we do this right. Can you kind of bring me up to speed on the timing and how I need to do this? And that's the best way to learn locally.
Okay, so it's all going to be individualized for this particular state.
Yeah, but from a marketing standpoint, don't hesitate. Just get your marketing out, get the properties listed, and it won't affect the timeline for listing it. It may affect closing.
Yeah, Rick, I was going to add one common factor you will notice, no matter where you are in the country, the probate attorneys tend to tell the people, the heirs, okay, I filed the probate, it's going to be 3 or 4 months now till you can sell the property. And that kind of works in your favor because typically they're sitting on their hands initially. And it's really your job in your first conversation to convey to them, even if the attorney says you can't close for a few months, why not take advantage of this downtime to find a buyer? Let's get it listed if we're fortunate. We talked on the last call, hey, we're going into the summer season. Great time to have it on the market now, rather than wait till the holidays. If we get a buyer tomorrow or next week, we just make the contract, close on or after the time that the probate's completed. So it's typically, it's going to take a month to find a buyer and a month to close it. And just to also add to what Chad said, every state is a little bit different. Where I'm at in Florida, typically you can list it any time, like Chad said. You can accept a contract anytime. If there's an urgency, you can go back to the court and petition to close an escrow. And what happens then is everything closes, everything funds. The seller just doesn't get their money until the probate's completed. So a lot of states do have mechanisms for that if there's a reason that you need to close sooner. But I would say 95% of the time, the 90 days you have to work with is enough, and you're not going to. It may be a small contingency, but it's certainly a lot better than short sales or a lot of other contingencies out there because the probate's going to close eventually.
Sure. Yeah.
Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Excellent. Anything else, Rick? Okay, thank you
No,
very much.
no, that's perfect. Thank you.
We got one more person in the queue, so either hopefully you have a very long question, or or I could entice someone else to hit *6 and then hit 1 and get in the queue. We probably have time for 3, 4, 5 more questions or comments. *6 and hit 1, guys, please. And next up is phone number ending in 9026. You're up.
Yes, hi. Good morning to everybody, or maybe
Morning.
good afternoon, depending on where everybody is. This is Vivian Kokinos. I'm calling from Staten Island, New York. My broker, Jill Gilani, signed up with your program, and we're kind of new to it. And we're just wondering what to do with our list. Do we call? How to go about it? Do you make calls? Do you send emails? Do you door knock? What's the best strategy that your people have gotten traction from?
So the first step would be go to alltheleads.com, and in the top right, you want to log in under subscriber resources. And subscriber resources.
Resources, okay.
Yep. And in there, you'll see kind of a 5-step, just what we call fast track training. And that version will be up for a little while longer until we roll over the new. But that's kind of the best practices, like the minimum effort. And in a nutshell, what we recommend is you're going to send 3 direct mail pieces, spaced 30 days apart. If you can afford to do more, you can manage more. Then more is better. But at a minimum, we want 3 stretches you over a 90-day period. And then we recommend you drop a phone call behind each of those letters. Just to make sure they got the letter, they understood why you sent it, and you can start that conversation. So that's kind of the minimum campaign: 3 letters, 3 phone calls over 90 days. Anything, if you want to make additional calls, layer in additional mailers, postcards, things like that, that'll increase your results. But most of our folks have really good success with just the 3 and 3.
And who do they send it to typically? The
well, you're marketing to the personal representative first, because that's they are the decision maker. But you can double your surface area by marketing to the attorneys. So if you market to the short term, like to get listings and create revenue, in the short term you market to the personal representative. For longer term, building a referral network, it's good to market to the probate attorneys, because one probate attorney can give you a career long of deals, where most executors will only be an executor once. So you can use, with the data we give you, you have the ability to really almost run 2 different campaigns. And then there's obviously overlap. As you're marketing to the attorney, you can say, I'm trying to reach John Doe regarding docket number 12345, the estate of Harry Smith. And that kind of gets your foot in the door to start the discussion and help that attorney understand that you specialize in this and you know how to help families navigate the process and take work off of his plate. So you can work with him on the same deal you're working with the PR, but ideally you're trying to develop that relationship so he's sending you referrals in the future.
Excellent.
The other place I would point you to is right now it's on our Facebook page group. All the Leads Mastermind is the name of the group. If you're not in there, we archive all of these calls. So there's 78 of these calls archived, as well as role play calls that we do. And if you just look on that page each week, we're posting new content. We have some really valuable conversations here. We've had some really great ones this year. So even if you just went back to January, I think you'll learn a ton. And just when you have free time, and they're uploaded in MP3 format, so you can download them to your phone if you want.
And that's on Facebook, you said?
I'm sorry?
Did you say that was on Facebook?
Yes. So All the Leads Mastermind is the name of the group. And when we do the new site rollover here in the next and soon, there'll actually be a section in the new website where you'll be able to search by month and see all of the calls that we've archived.
Okay, very good.
Thank you so much. And I was just going to add, guys, we talk about this all the time. Chad did a remarkable job with those fast track videos. They're basically 5-10 minute videos. We put them he put them in bite-sized chunks because he knows how busy realtors are, and he knows, myself included, we don't always have the longest attention span. And if you would just take, 10 to 12 minute segments and watch those 5 videos, you're going to get a really good overview of the entire system, and it's going to answer 99% of the questions you have. And if it doesn't, like we said earlier, just send an email to support@alltheleads, and we'll help you with filling in the blanks. All right. Well, this is New York Day. We have someone from Brooklyn in the queue, and I like your Brooklyn, New York BPO. I can already tell you're going to be ready to work short sales if you've done BPOs. You're up. Go ahead, New York, Brooklyn.
Yeah, my broker is Marcia Clark, and I'm asking she took the system, but what we're finding is that because someone is probated does not necessarily mean property. So how do we distinguish whether a person the probate, because it may be securities or whatever.
Right.
So how do we distinguish between them?
Yep, we get asked that question every week. Go ahead, Chad.
You ask good questions. So you never know it's kind of a mixed bag. So, the average inheritance was $176,000 in 2014. 80% of them are going to own real estate. 65% of them have life insurance policies. Many have stock portfolios. So there's so many ways you can help these families. The best thing you can do is just call, send the letters, start the conversation, and find ways that you can kind of layer in value. Okay. And even if they don't own real estate, maybe you can help them buy real estate. If they do own real estate and they've already chosen another agent, maybe you can still be their agent to help them buy investment property. Maybe you can refer them to your financial advisor to set up an estate plan so they don't have to go through this again. There's any way that you can provide value to them. Don't look at them as as wasted leads. Just look at it as that one's not a listing lead, but what can I do with it? And you'll find that probably 80% of them in most markets will have real estate. A lot of families are forced to liquidate assets even before the death occurs in order to pay for long-term care. So just don't get discouraged if you're finding that, this one sold and that one listed, because they probably did that well before probate was ever filed. What we give you is, as timely as possible. We give you the information from when they file the probate, but what they do before then, we don't know. So just keep the right mindset. Don't get discouraged, and understand a certain number they will have to have been proactive and get the home on the market and get it sold. And some of them might not have real estate, especially in New York. They may have lived in a rental at that phase of life, but they could be flush with cash or stock portfolios, or there's many other ways you might help them and build a relationship to get referrals later.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. And I just want to echo, we've talked about that in the last 3 or 4 calls. Think about who you're calling. You're calling someone that regardless of what the asset was, they just inherited about $200,000. If, I'd ask everybody on this call, if you inherited $200,000, what's the first thing you would think about doing? Probably upgrade where you're living. So
no way, man. I would get an RV and travel.
You travel for the next 20 years, but for a lot of people, the first thing they would do with that money is list the house they're in and buy the dream house they always wanted. So, and I guarantee you, if anybody else is calling them, as soon as they find out the real estate sold, okay, thank you, goodbye. If you just ask that extra question, hey, well, that's great. Congratulations, you sold the property. And, I specialize in helping people that have inherited property, and I find a lot of times, after the estate's settled, the people find themselves with some extra cash. The first thing they want to do is maybe upgrade the home they're in. Have you considered that? How about buying some investment property? So ask that extra question or two, and you'd be surprised. There still may be, like Chad said, there still may be a deal or two there, even if the initial real estate is already sold.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Guys, that's the last question. We never get out of here early, and we got about 3 minutes to go, so we have time for another one. *6 and hit 1. Otherwise, I'll let you all get back to work. *6 and hit 1. Going, gone. Well, good questions today. Any closing comments from my partners? Chad, anything you want to add that we didn't cover?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Mastery, to summarize, Mastery in July, so make sure you get signed up for that if you haven't taken it. Tim, anything you want to add, or are we good to go?
The only thing I would tell you is that I've already seen a couple of people since our call started signing on to the, trying to get on our Facebook page and join the Mastermind. That's great. Chad told you all how to do that. Make sure you do it. It's important, and we're working hard to get the new website turned on. It should be turned on very soon. Have a great day. Go make some money. Jim, stop talking.
Okay, and please fill out and return our survey when we send it, guys. I always like to end these calls by thanking everybody for the time you took to be here. And I challenge you, take one idea, one thought, one thing that kind of caught your attention from this call, go out and put it into practice. And guys, please come back next Thursday and share your results with the group. Thank you so much for being here. Make it a great week, and we'll talk to you next Thursday.